I'm Toymaker ZW and today we are creating a life-size Dog Day plush with the Frozen Mega 8K printer and my favorite Aqua Grey 8K resin. It took about 19 hours to print all of the parts, but this time I did not print out his palms or feet because as we have learned from our catnap video, they are not entirely necessary. We only printed out the mouth thingy, the sun charm, his nose and eyes. And after removing all the support, we're going to cure it further with our Cure Mega S, which will solidify the prints and finalize the printing process. What's different about this project is that Catnap had a very good UV map that we could immediately use as a pattern for plush making, but not Dog Day. That is because for some reason he doesn't have a good 3D model. The only good versions are the ones standing, and they are Catnap, Bearhug and Boba Fett, while the rest are actually crawling. And also kind of frightened, like they are retreating from you, as you can see from their ears being tucked back and their tails lying flat down. So we have no choice but to modify our own by stealing his head and scaling it down to fit the standing version. I also want to fix the tail by changing the shape and making it more puffy. Then we have to fix his ears because it's supposed to be puffier as well. And I really tried my best, but my best was a miserable failure. It's okay because there is a ruined version of the Dog Day plush which is standing and has a nicer pair of ears. Just that they have holes because it's ruined. So what I did was to remove all the exposed flesh, which revealed all of the holes in the ears that I have to cover up subsequently and nudge the parts into place. Now we have a perfect dog ear that is then transferred back to the clean model to scale into the right size. I know, these digital stuff are not very easy to understand, so I really appreciate you for sticking through it. The good news is that Alexa on YouTube has made an amazing tutorial with foam and other handcrafting materials that you can make without any digital tools. So please watch that video if you are interested. But for now, we are back to our computer to make our patterns with Plushify.net. Pattern making for Dog Day is yet another challenge, because as mentioned, his UV maps are quite messed up, and we have to mark every single seams out ourselves. I marked out the face with reference to our catnap face, then for his ears, I tried my best again to follow the polygroups in the model, and also for the tail. However, there are some curved parts that are demarcated as black, and in order to get rid of them, we have to insert some cuts to try and maintain that curved shape when sewing afterwards. The next issue with Dog Day is his multiple colored fur, like the brown patch on his eyes, his yellow muzzle and his yellow tummy, which makes it really complicated because they are not marked out in the 3D model. Luckily, Plushify has a feature called markings, where I can add images like the different colored portions into the model as markings and move them into place. Then they will appear in the 2D patterns themselves, so I will know where to switch colors when sewing. We did the same for the tummy and the patterns are ready. I only printed out some parts like his face and ears because we are reusing the other parts from Catnap since the body is the same. And it's time for fur. We have yellow fur, light orange fur, and of course, orangey brown fur. I'm actually quite nervous about this yellow portion because we didn't have to deal with that in Catnap, so I would love to get them done ASAP. First, we have to identify the fur direction and the stretch, then we can start marking out the patterns with a marker. I didn't want to use the thick blue marker because it seems to be showing through the fur, so I decided to use a thinner purple marker to mark everything out, which seems to be working fine until it started to smudge. Apparently this is a disappearing marker, which means what, they will disappear tomorrow? How am I gonna sew? Well, we have no choice but to redo everything with the blue marker, which is of course showing through the other side, but there is nothing we can do. As long as we sew inside of the blue line, it should not be a problem, I hope. Now for the other two colors, I have to divide the parts up correctly, and we can do the same with some editing magic to save your time. If only things work this way in real life, our videos would be ready so much quicker. Let's take a look at our lovely prints because they are in need of some sanding. But it's okay, they are quite small and easy to sand, so I'm not going crazy yet. Speaking of small, When I was prepping the parts for printing, I realized that Dog Day's charm is actually smaller than Catnap's crescent, and I even contemplated whether to increase the size, but you know me, I am a sucker for accuracy, and if the creators of Poppy Playtime wanted it to be smaller, fine, I would try to appreciate the mistake that they made. And let me extend this genuine appreciation to our supporters who donated cups of coffee each month so that I can continue making videos for you guys. If you would like to support me as well, you can do so for free by clicking like and commenting on this video. Thank you so much. Now we can attach the armature to the head. It's funny because to keep things consistent, I have to consciously make the same mistake for Dog Day by making the hole too small and drilling it bigger manually, so that it will be of the same height as Catnap. I know it's silly, but I assure you that it's very important. Another important thing that I come to realize are sewing pins, because they really help to keep things in place and help me visualize how I'm supposed to sew the various parts together, like the brown patch, which worked out pretty well. The muzzle also worked out equally well, just a lot of work to sew 3 separate colors compared to just 1 color for Catnap. But I'm just happy that they worked out. The other thing that I'm worried about is Dog Day's ears, because we made a lot of cuts, so now we have to sew these dots together, and when we push it inside out, we have a nice curve. This was repeated about 6 more times throughout one ear, and then when we combine the bottom ear with the top ear and turn it inside out, it looks really good, right? Okay, the moment of truth is whether it will have the right shape after putting some stuffing in. And I think it does. Whoa, awesome. So I made the other ear and I think we can try attaching them to the head. I sewed the head together with his black mouth and glued it onto the 3D printed head, so the back of the head shut, and now the ears are finally ready to be attached. Something that I didn't show on the Catnap video is the trimming of the black fabric, because the fur is too long and it's making Dog Day look really messy, like the one time when I forgot to shave and appeared on camera. After he's clean shaven, we are going to work on his body. And since we already know that the yellow part works well, we completed it really quickly. Attach the zipper to one end, then the other end, cut the remaining off, and super glue the ends to prevent any fraying. And we should probably add some limbs to Dog Day. They are actually the exact same thing as Catnap, since we use the exact same pattern, so you can refer to the Catnap video for this portion. The difference is that I decided to try machine sewing again, because I was getting so sick of poking my own fingers. And it actually worked pretty well for straight lines. We just had to use a lot of pins, like a lot of them. But for curved lines, I'm still struggling to get the opposite side to follow the line, and I had to hand sew the problematic parts, which is fine, but then sometimes things are too messed up to fix and we waste more time redoing it. In the end, I had to accept and embrace small mistakes, like if it's still, In the end, I had to accept and embrace small mistakes, like if it is still within the blue line that I drew, I will not redo it.
Nobody's gonna know.
They're gonna know.
Of course, how can we forget the Playtime coat tag on his right leg? Then I hand sew the different colored parts together, combine them with the body, and Dog Day can start wearing his skin suit. Good thing our zipper is functional, so we can add more stuffing whenever we want it into his body to make him as fat as we want him to be. And fortunately, Dog Day's tail is really short and easy to make, and we can attach it to the body with some leather stitching. Finally, the finishing touches would be to apply all the 3D printed parts with gloss black, add some metallic silver to the charm parts, which are separated into two so that I can apply clear yellow on the circle and clear orange on the sun. Then we glue the parts onto the face, cut the zipper off, glue the charm together, and replace it with our own. A life-size Dog Day plush made from scratch. I'm so glad that the different colored fur didn't fail, like the muzzle is encapsulating the mouth so nicely, the tummy as well, and the ears, boy was I nervous about all the cuts I made, and I'm quite satisfied with the result. This is what he looks like beside his best friend Catnap. Let me know in the comments below who I should make next, watch my other Poppy Playtime videos, or visit Alexa's channel to watch how she handmade her Dog Day. Thank you for your time.